Hi everyone, it's Chrissie and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 apartment renovation. So today we're actually renovating one of the smallest apartments in the game. This is 910 Medina Studios, I think it's 910. Either way, it's up in the upper left hand corner of the screen. But yeah, this is one of the apartments in the arts quarter. Yeah, it's the arts quarter of San Myshuno, and this is actually where 𝘕𝘕𝘕 lives if you start a new game. But yeah, it's also one of the smallest apartments in the game. It's a perfect square usually, and it's not really an apartment I tend to build in all that much, just because it's for one, it's a needs TLC apartment. And the windows are also in some really weird places. So we have this really tiny little window in one corner, and then on the other side of the apartment where I currently have the bedroom, we have a couple of big windows, and then we just have one other window that's actually a really tiny square, and it's really up super high. So it's not really like, I don't know, like it's not really realistic. It looks really odd because the walls in this apartment building are also like the tallest wall height. So I don't usually tend to build in this apartment, just because there's not much you can really do with the layout, you know, with where the windows are, because you can't move them. So yeah, I don't really usually build in this apartment. I don't remember the last time I've even built in this apartment. But I really wanted to do a really run down and kind of like totally trashed build. Like I wanted to go all out with making it look as like completely trashed and run down and gross as I possibly could. So yeah, I figured doing a really tiny apartment would be a great way to do that, just so that it's not too overwhelming. But yeah, so you'll also see that I did something that I don't think I've ever done before with an apartment build, and that's actually using platforms to make an apartment smaller. So a lot of the apartments in San Myshuno are really big, especially if you think about real life apartment sizes. Now this apartment was already quite small. I mean, it was already quite a small apartment to begin with, and I actually made it even smaller. So you'll notice in the upper left side of the apartment, so like right next to the bedroom, there's this huge black blob basically, and that's actually a room that I sectioned off and I completely filled it with a like platform. So you know, it's your Sims can't get there, they can't use it, it's not even uploaded to the gallery. So yeah, I basically turned that into a unusable space to make the apartment smaller. So this is only a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. The bedroom is actually off of the bathroom is off of the bedroom. Now you could make this a 2-bedroom apartment if you wanted to utilize that like platform space. So if you wanted to take away the platform and put a door somewhere, you could easily turn this into a 2-bedroom. I don't really know where you would put the door to that room, because you'd either have to put it in the like currently existing bedroom, which is weird floor plan wise, or you would have to somehow move the kitchen to fit in a door, because that's the only other wall that's connected to that part. But either way, you could turn this into a 2-bedroom. I might do that at some point, you know, thinking about it right now. That actually sounds really fun. So yeah, I might turn this into a 2-bedroom apartment at some point, but we'll see. But either way, basically I wanted to make this apartment as gross and rundown and just grungy and icky as I possibly could. So I had a lot of fun with this. It took me around 2 hours, which is kind of weird considering how small the apartment actually is. It usually wouldn't take you 2 hours to do an apartment this small, but I really went all out with like debug gross stuff and putting scratches and like broken things and like stuff like that everywhere. Like I have, you know, holes in the walls and tears in the wallpaper and actual puddles on like all of the floors, and it's actually freaking gross. Like it's not just old and run down looking, it's full on gross. So yeah, it was really fun doing this. But yeah, like I mentioned earlier, it is a needs TLC apartment. So there are a couple of things that come with the apartment that you actually have to access in gameplay because, you know, things will go wrong. So, you know, mice will come out of the mouse holes that we have. There's this vent in the floor right by where I have the telescope in the bedroom at the moment. That vent will actually start like releasing a really funky smell. We have this electrical box that I have in this kind of like closet area. There's the pipes in the bathroom. There's another mouse hole in the living room. And I did cover up a couple of them so your Sims can't actually get to them for the gameplay. Mostly just the ones in the bedroom. The mouse hole in the bedroom and that vent isn't accessible at the moment. But the circuit breaker in the closet and the pipes are both totally functional. Your Sims can get to them. I did playtest that. And those are the only ones that like physically affect gameplay, because I can't remember if your pipes, if they start leaking, if your Sims will eventually not have water if you don't fix it. But I know that if the circuit breaker like actually dies, you will have to fix it, otherwise your Sims won't have electricity. So I wanted to keep that accessible, but for stuff like the mouse holes and, you know, the stinky vents in the floors, those stuff, like those things, they'll make your Sims uncomfortable and tense and stuff, but they won't actually make the apartment not function. So I actually did that on purpose because it's kind of funny having your Sims constantly tense because there's mice running around. So yeah, I did that. But if you wanted to move some of the items to like actually access those things, then you totally could. A lot of it is just clutter in the living room that might be blocking the mouse hole, but in the bedroom you'll have to get rid of the telescope, which it doesn't really serve a purpose. I just did that for like the story that I had in my head, but you can't actually use that telescope because it's not outside. Your Sims, the telescopes need to be outside for your Sims to actually use them. And then the planter box is, it's also not really necessary unless you really want your Sims to do some gardening. Again, I just put it in for the story because, as you'll notice by now, this apartment does have a couple of odd items in it. We have, you know, a duffel of cash by the in the bedroom by the like big mirror that we have. We have a baseball bat. In that little closet space, we have an ATM that probably shouldn't be there. We'll also later on have a couple of like really expensive paintings in the bedroom that will be leaning against the wall, which, you know, very clearly does not fit the style of this apartment, and they're not there as decorations, if you understand what I mean. And then we also have the little plant growing in the bedroom along with some seedlings and stuff, which, you know, just make your own assumptions about that. But yeah, I really liked that. I really liked the story that I had in my head for this apartment. So in my head, you know, there probably lives a criminal in this apartment, a Sim in the criminal career or something like that. Or maybe they're a klepto or something, and, you know, that's kind of how they make their money. In the living room, we also have the really old TV from the basement treasures kit. But then we have a couple of like game console remotes on the like coffee table and the table where like the little cabinets where the TV is. And then I'm actually going to be putting in 2 game consoles as well. So in my head, you know, maybe one's a PlayStation and one's an Xbox, or like a old Nintendo console or whatever. And those items, along with like the ATM and the paintings and stuff, don't necessarily belong to the Sim that lives here, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I figured that was really, really funny, and I kind of like that little bit of storytelling. So yeah, we have that, and then we just have a completely trashed living room that you'll see me working on, and I did put clutter like everywhere. I did playtest everything as well though, so your Sims can get everywhere, they can access everything, you know, everything's usable. Now, the kitchen you might be looking at and thinking, you know, hold up, there's no like actual big fridge. I just used a debug one, but I did that for a reason, you'll see later on. And here currently I'm actually sizing down a counter that has the laptop on it so that I can place it kind of like at an angle. I did playtest it, both counters work, so your Sims can eat at the big counter that has like the blue chairs, and then they can sit and use the computer as well. So yeah, I did playtest that, that works. Now, I did use a debug fridge because I wanted to make it look like the fridge was broken. and they haven't fixed it. So, you know, it's just standing there for like nothing. But we have the fridge that has like the open door, and just to make sure that the kitchen is fully functional, I did also put in a little mini fridge. So maybe they figured, you know, instead of actually fixing the big fridge or, you know, getting a new one, it was just cheaper to get a little mini fridge. So they have that. And then later on, I actually end up putting in some clutter items in the fridge itself. So in my head, you know, maybe, you know, the fridge has been broken for a while. And yeah, here I'm doing it right now. I put a couple of boxes in there from the basement kit, but then later on off camera, I actually put in some toilet paper in the fridge as well. I stacked some toilet paper on one of the fridge like racks. And that just, it was so weird and so funny that I had to do it. I even posted pictures of this over on Twitter. So if you guys follow me over on Twitter or have had a look at the community tab recently, I actually posted a couple of pictures from this apartment just because I loved it so much when I did it that I wanted to share it immediately. So yeah, you guys, if you follow me over on Twitter, you'll have already seen it. But yeah, so I did put some toilet paper in the fridge as well, which, you know, saying it out loud sounds really, really weird. But in my head, you know, the bathroom, once we get to it, you'll see that there isn't really any like storage space in the bathroom. There's literally just a toilet, a sink, and then I used the open shower from university. So there's no storage in there because there would have been place for some some sort of bathroom cabinet or something if the pipes weren't there, but I wanted the pipes to be accessible. So there's no storage in there, and I figured, you know, you need somewhere to put your toilet paper, and the fridge was just standing there open and not working. So, you know, why not put the toilet paper in the fridge? That's a really weird sentence, and I honestly, I felt like I wish you guys could have seen the look on my face when I did that, or like when I was building this whole apartment. Honestly, it was so much fun just trying to figure out the weirdest things that I could do. I sat down and I thought to myself, okay, what are some things that I would never normally do, but that I really want to do in this? What are some of the weirdest, wackiest, grossest things that I could do that, you know, I would never do in a regular build, because it's weird and gross and like it looks funny. And I did most of those ideas that I had. So I used all of these stains from Strangerville. I had them coming out of the walls, like to make it look like the pipes were leaking, or like the cracks in the walls were leaking, whatever they might be leaking. And you know, it's gross. It really is gross. Apart from, you know, all of the wear and tear on the wallpaper itself, there's also a bunch of stains on the floor and like scuff marks. The kitchen is a mess. There's like food on the floor and like puddle stains of, you know, God knows what. And then the bathroom is actually disgusting. Like, I had so much fun with that bathroom. It is one of the grossest bathrooms I've ever done, and I'm so proud of it. It sounds so weird, but yeah, I'm so proud of how the bathroom came out. It's just, when I was building it, like, you know, when you do something and you maybe sometimes if you look at like a picture or whatever and you can smell the picture, yeah, that happened. I could literally smell this bathroom, and it was kind of nauseating, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, there's so many like stains and just grossness and puddles and stuff all over this bathroom. But yeah, apart from everything that you guys have seen me do in the video, I also did a couple of things off camera. So I will show you all of that in the tour at the end, because yeah, I will be doing a live tour as normal. And then the build is already up on the gallery if you guys want to go ahead and download it. It's up on the gallery, completely custom, content free. I didn't really pack restrict myself too much, just because I basically just wanted to use anything and everything that I thought, you know, fit this like grungy vibe that I was going for. So I didn't pack restrict it, but it is completely custom, content free. It is up on the gallery. My gallery ID is always in the description, as well as a download link to the gallery website. Tray files will be going up for members. And then in 3 weeks, they'll be going up on my Builds Tumblr as well, which is always linked in the description. If you guys ever are looking for some of my older builds and some of the tray files for some of my older builds that I've done, definitely go ahead, take a look at my Builds Tumblr. I'm slowly adding like my backlog of builds to that and adding the tray files to Tumblr, to the post, so that you guys can, you know, download the tray files there if you ever need them for whatever reason. So yeah, definitely go ahead, check that out. Like I said, always linked in the description. But yeah, the bathroom is coming together, and yeah, as you can see, very, very gross. I honestly, I love this bathroom so much. I would never want to set foot in that bathroom. I probably wouldn't ever want to set foot in this entire apartment, if I'm being completely honest, because rather than just being messy, as a lot of my builds sometimes are, this one is downright like dirty and like gross. So I would never want to set foot in here. But yeah, I love the way it turned out. I hope you guys liked it too. If you did, give the video a like. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell as well to be notified of whenever I upload a new video. But yeah, the build turned out to be around 33,500 simoleons, so not technically a starter home or anything like that. But all of those fancy paintings and stuff that I added definitely added to the price, so you could delete them and make this build a lot cheaper if you wanted to. But yeah, with all of that said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into the game, and I'm gonna show you guys around in real time and show you some of the stuff that I did off camera if I can remember what all of it was. Okay, so here we are in the game, in the apartment. This is what it looks like. As you can see, we have some mice running around. I did actually add in another mouse hole over here. Now, that one is just a debug item, actually, from, I think it's either from the debug or the live edit menu from Cats and Dogs. So yeah, I added another mouse hole in the kitchen. But yeah, as you guys can see, this is our little apartment. We have the kitchen right as you come in. I think I'm gonna pause the game really quickly, but yeah, we have the kitchen. We have, you know, the dirty sink with some dirty dishes. We have our little island with a bunch of clutter and old pizza boxes and stuff. And yeah, this is the little this is our little storage fridge that I did with, as you can see, the toilet paper in there and some boxes. Now, you can totally cook in this kitchen. You can just use the little mini fridge to cook instead of the big one. So yeah, we have our kitchen, we have the living room. As you can see, we have a couple of boxes, you know, some clutter. We do have a bookcase, we have a little stereo, and then the really very gross looking living room. I love the way this looks. Like, just looking at it from like this angle, it looks so gross and so like just so different from what I normally build. But yeah, so we have our little mouse hole, we have our little TV as well. Now, these lamps, I think I pointed this out in my video on Sunday as well, but these lamps, you can actually enable an emotional aura to these lamps from the Basement Treasures kit. I keep wanting to call it the basement kit, but they will actually make your Sims tense if your Sims are actually in the same room as those lamps, so they have an emotional aura, which is great. Now, going through here, we have the bedroom. We have, you know, the bed with the nice little bedside, not bedside table, but like headboard that I made out of one of the new console table things, like old TV stuff that came with the basement kit. We have our cracked mirror, our little duffel of cash. We have our baseball bat, and then we have a couple of like really expensive paintings that probably don't really fit in an apartment like this. But yeah, we have some paintings, we have some more sports equipment, some more boxes. We have, you know, another couple of mice running around, which, you know, the mouse hole in the bedroom is actually behind the planter. But like I said, you'll just have to either move the planter or delete it if you want to access those things. But, you know, it's not really necessary because your Sims will just get uncomfortable, but it won't actually affect like gameplay apart from that. But yeah, so we have our little dresser area, we have our little plants growing, we have our little telescope for, I don't know, watching the stars in the city, or maybe your neighbors or something. Even though in the game it's not functional because it's not outside, and in The Sims 4, telescopes need to be outside for some weird reason. You can't even have them like under a roof. But yeah, so we have that. And then through this door, we have our very disgusting and gross looking bathroom that honestly, like I said, I would never want to set foot in. But yeah, we have our little sink, shower, toilet over here, and then the pipes that your Sims can access. They can get to them, so that is totally fine, and you don't have to worry about that being like unplayable or like unrootable. So yeah, we have those. Yeah, see, he's getting really, really uncomfortable being around all of like this nastiness. So yeah, that's really funny. And then over here in this little closet space, we have our little, like, I guess, I don't know, borrowed ATM machine. We have a couple of more storage items, you know, some clothes, and then we have our breaker box that your Sims can actually access as well. And that is basically the entire apartment. Now, as you can see, it is a different shape than it usually is. And that's because this part, this like little platform part, is actually part of the apartment. I just sectioned off the room as you would. I did the floor plan, and then I just raised up a platform as high as it could possibly go to like block out that part of the apartment. And this is that little window that I told you guys about in the voiceover with, you know, the windows in this apartment being all weird. Yeah, that is that window. So it's blocked off, but honestly it doesn't really matter. It's so small that it doesn't really serve much of a purpose. So yeah, you could really easily do this yourself if you wanted to with other apartments as well. You can just like block off little bits of it. But yeah, this is the little floor plan of the apartment in case you guys wanted to see it with the grid on and all of that stuff. Now, if you do want to download this apartment, it is up on the gallery already. So if you go to the gallery, all you have to do is go to my gallery page, which is just ChrissieYT. And once you're on my gallery page, you can either look at everything or you can filter it by rooms. Now, rooms are how you have to upload apartments in the game. The game doesn't have an apartment upload feature. For some reason, it shows that it's on here doubled, but it's not. But yeah, so this is the little apartment. This is the little thumbnail for it. And as you can see, I literally just included the actual functional apartment space. I didn't include the little platform area, just because platforms don't upload to the gallery. So if you place down this apartment, you'll have that little like empty room at the back. And you'll have to either just like raise up the platform yourself, or you can just leave it as an empty room without the platform if, you know, you prefer that. But yeah, that's basically how you download this apartment. And just make sure that you have move objects on if you end up like downloading this, because otherwise you're going to run into some issues if you don't have move objects on. That's all I'm gonna say, because, you know, I don't even know if half of this stuff will place if you don't have move objects on. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, you don't need any custom content or anything like that. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, like I said. And I hope you're all having a great day. Salim is having a little bit of a moment with the rats. But yeah, I hope you're all having a great day and a great week so far. And I'll talk to you all in my very next video. Bye everyone.